Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Government took brave decisions of monetizing unused and underused elements to revive economy, says Prime Minister at the first Audit Divas event in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Purvanchal Expressway at Karwalkiri in Sultanpur district of Uttar Pradesh. CBI conducts searches in 76 locations in 14 states and union territories. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 113 crore mark. President Ramnath Kovind to grace the centenary year celebrations of the Punjab Engineering College in Chandigarh this evening. Prime Minister to address the inaugural session of 82nd All India Presiding Officers Conference tomorrow. In Kerala, heavy rain continues to lash across various districts. Yellow alert declared in 8 districts. Today is National Press Day. And in cricket, India will take on New Zealand in the first T20 International of the 3-match series in Jaipur tomorrow. As India created history by administering over 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And other news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the government took brave decisions of monetizing unused and underused elements, addressing the first audit divas at CAG premises in New Delhi today. Mr. Modi said as a result of those decisions, the country is having a reviving economy and is welcomed across the world.
हमने आपके कंसर्न्स को सकारात्मक तरीके से लिया, अनयूज और अंडर यूज एलिमेंट्स को मोनिटाइज करने के साहसिक निर्णय लिए। आज इन फैसलों के परिणाम फिर से गति पकड़ रही अर्थव्यवस्था, जिसकी चर्चा पूरी दुनिया में हो रही है, उसका स्वागत सम्मान हो रहा है। सीएजी में जब आप इनका व्यापक आकलन करेंगे तो मुझे लगता है इन फैसलों के कई ऐसे पहलू सामने आएंगे जो कभी-कभी विशेषज्ञों से भी छूट जाते हैं.
The Prime Minister said the Controller and Auditor General CAG is a key part of the country's development. He said the institution played an important role in the productivity and efficiency. He said earlier, various practices used to take place in the banking sector due to lack of transparency, which resulted in increasing non-performing assets. Mr. Modi said there are very few institutions that become stronger, more mature and more relevant with the passage of time. He said most institutions lose relevance after some decades, but the CAG is a heritage and every generation should cherish it.
बहुत कम इंस्टीट्यूशन ऐसे होते हैं जो समय बीतते बीतते अधिक मजबूत होते हैं, अधिक मैच्योर होते हैं और अधिक उपयोगी होते हैं. ज्यादातर इंस्टीट्यूशन जन्म लेते हैं 3 दशक, 4 दशक, 5 दशक आते आते ही स्थितियां इतनी बदल जाती हैं कि वो कभी कभी अपना रिलेवेंस ही खो देते हैं. लेकिन सीएजी के संबंध में हम कह सकते हैं कि इतने सालों के बाद ये इंस्टीट्यूट अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी विरासत है, बहुत बड़ी अमानत है.
The Prime Minister said it was CAG versus the government earlier, as audit was associated with fear. He said this mindset has changed today and audit is being considered as an important part of value addition. Stressing on the reform and transparency in the system, Mr. Modi said online applications for contactless customs, automatic renewals, faceless assessments, service delivery have put an end to the unnecessary interference of the government.
Minimum government, maximum governance, contactless customs, automatic renewals, फेसलेस असेसमेंट्स, सर्विस डिलीवरी के लिए ऑनलाइन एप्लीकेशंस, इन सारे रिफॉर्म्स ने सरकार के गैर जरूरी दखल को खत्म किया है। सिस्टम में जब ये ट्रांसपेरेंसी आती है तो नतीजे भी हमें साफ साफ दिखाई देने लगते हैं।
Talking about the COVID pandemic, Mr. Modi said the country's fight against the pandemic has been extraordinary. He said today the country is running the world's largest vaccination program, and a few weeks ago the country has crossed the milestone of 100 crore vaccine doses.
दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा वैक्सीनेशन प्रोग्राम भी चला रहे हैं। कुछ सप्ताह पहले ही देश ने 100 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज का पड़ाव पार किया। मैं चाहूंगा कि अपने रूटीन कामकाज के साथ साथ सीएजी महामारी के खिलाफ देश की इस लड़ाई के दौरान जो अच्छी प्रैक्टिसेस डेवलप हुई है उनका अध्ययन करें। देश ने इससे जो कुछ नया सीखा, नया अपनाया, जो सिस्टमैटिक लर्निंग हुई, वो भविष्य में ग्लोबल गुड प्रैक्टिसेस बनने में भी मदद करेगी। दुनिया को भावी महामारियों से लड़ने के लिए तैयार करेगी, मजबूती देगी।
The Prime Minister said data is very important in the 21st century, and in the coming years our history will also be seen and understood through data.
पुराने समय में इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोरीज के लिए प्रसारित होती थी, कहानियों के जरिए ही इतिहास लिखा जाता था। लेकिन आज 21वीं सदी में डेटा ही इंफॉर्मेशन है और आने वाले समय में हमारी हिस्ट्री भी डेटा के जरिए देखी और समझी जाएगी। इन फ्यूचर डेटा विल बी डिक्टेटिंग द हिस्ट्री।
CAG Girish Chandra Murmu said this day has been chosen to be the first Audit Divas. He said on the 16th of November 1860, the first Auditor General took charge, and today onwards Audit Divas will be celebrated on the 16th of November every year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Purvanchal Expressway at Karwalkiri in Sultanpur district of Uttar Pradesh. After the inauguration, Mr. Modi will also witness an air show by the Indian Air Force on the 3.2-kilometer long airstrip constructed on the expressway in Sultanpur district to enable landing and takeoff of Indian Air Force fighter planes in case of emergency. The Prime Minister will also address a public rally after the inauguration. Now we take you live to the Prime Minister's address at the event.
पूर्वी हिस्सा रहा है। ये पूर्वी भारत, नॉर्थ ईस्ट के राज्य विकास की इतनी संभावना होने के बावजूद इन क्षेत्रों को देश में हो रहे विकास का उतना लाभ नहीं मिला जितना मिलना चाहिए था। उत्तर प्रदेश में भी जिस तरह की राजनीति हुई, जिस तरह से लंबे समय तक सरकारें चली, उन्होंने यूपी के संपूर्ण विकास, यूपी का सर्वांगीण विकास, इस पर ध्यान ही नहीं दिया। यूपी का ये क्षेत्र तो माफियावाद और यहां के नागरिकों को गरीबी के हवाले कर दिया गया था। मुझे खुशी है कि आज यही क्षेत्र विकास का एक नया अध्याय लिख रहा है। मैं यूपी के ऊर्जावान, कर्मयोगी मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ जी और उनकी टीम और यूपी के लोगों को पूर्वांचल एक्सप्रेस की बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं।
The Purvanchal Expressway is 341 kilometers long. It starts from village Chaur Sarai, district Lucknow, located on Lucknow-Sultanpur Road, NH 731, and ends at village Haidaria, located on National Highway number 31, 18 kilometers east of UP-Bihar border.
In a major crackdown, Central Bureau of Investigation is today conducting searches at around 76 locations across the country in 14 states and union territories. CBI registered 23 separate cases on the 14th of November against total 83 accused on the allegations related to online child sexual abuse and exploitation. These days, states and UTs include Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Bihar, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Haryana, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh. 2 years back, the CBI set up an online child sexual abuse and exploitation OCSE prevention and investigation unit at New Delhi under Special Crime Zone. Home Minister Amit Shah has said that Narendra Modi's government has decided to reopen the Kartarpur Sahib corridor from tomorrow. He said this will benefit large number of Sikh pilgrims. In a tweet today, Mr. Shah said this decision reflects the immense reverence of Modi's government towards Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji and Sikh community. He said the nation is all set to celebrate the Prakash Utsav of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji on the 19th of this month. India's COVID vaccination coverage has crossed 113 crore mark. Around 60 lakh vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, over 8,000 new COVID-19 cases were reported in the country in the last 24 hours, while around 12,000 people recovered. 197 people lost their lives during the period. The COVID recovery rate in the country now stands at 98.27%, which is the highest since March last year.
Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia today chaired a meeting with non-government organizations, civil society organizations and development partners to take the government's Har Ghar Dastak vaccination campaign across the length and breadth of the country. Dr. Mandavia discussed how an enhanced partnership between the government and these organizations will strengthen the campaign. The minister said the government seeks support of the organizations to take the Har Ghar Dastak vaccination campaign to every nook and corner of the country. In our bilingual live phone-in Corona Jagruta series program, Dr. Rajesh Malhotra, Head of the Orthopedics Department, AIIMS, New Delhi, will be with us tonight to answer the queries related to coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. on toll-free number 1-800-115767 and on telephone number 011-2331-4444. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This live program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.nic.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.
Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that there is a huge potential for business in India and expressed hope that the country looks forward for a lot more activity in international business and engagement. The minister appreciated the contribution of multinational corporations to the Indian economy and hoped that this will continue to grow and expand.
MNCs have been an integral part of India's growth story, in many cases now for 100 years. So many of the companies that I meet to say they've been in India for over 100 years, and their contribution is immense. Whether it's in terms of building highly skilled managerial talent, whether it's building good business practices or good manufacturing practices in India, whether it's the good corporate social responsibility and such social initiatives that are taken up by many of our MNCs, whether it's skill development. I think a huge contribution by the MNCs when it comes to skill development in India. And all of these have had a multiplier effect on the economy.
You will listen to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Government took brave decisions of monetizing unused and underused elements to revive economy, says Prime Minister at the first Audit Divas event in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Purvanchal Expressway at Karwalkiri in Sultanpur district of Uttar Pradesh. CBI conducts searches in 76 locations in 14 states and union territories. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 113 crore mark. President Ramnath Kovind to grace the centenary year celebrations of the Punjab Engineering College in Chandigarh this evening. Prime Minister to address the inaugural session of the 82nd All India Presiding Officers Conference tomorrow. In Kerala, heavy rain continued to lash across various districts. Yellow alert declared in 8 districts. Today is the National Press Day, and in cricket, India will take on New Zealand in the first T20 international of the 3-match series in Jaipur tomorrow. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the Midday News. President Ramnath Kovind will grace the centenary year celebrations of the Punjab Engineering College in Chandigarh this evening. Tomorrow he will visit Sui village in Bhiwani district of Haryana, which is being developed as Adarsh Gram by Mahadevi Parmeshwari Das Jindal Charitable Trust. The President will inaugurate the public facilities there. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the inaugural session of the 82nd All India Presiding Officers Conference tomorrow via video conferencing. The All India Presiding Officers Conference, the apex body of the legislatures in India, is celebrating its 100 years in 2021. The 2-day conference will be held in Shimla.
Heavy rain and strong winds continue to batter hilly regions of Kerala. The Central Meteorological Department has forecast heavy showers in isolated places of North Kerala and hilly areas in the state today and tomorrow due to the impact of the cyclone in the Middle East and Southeast Arabian Sea. Authorities have warned fishermen not to go to the sea off the coast of Kerala. The prevailing low pressure in the North Andaman Sea is likely to move west-northwest and intensify over the next 24 hours, causing strong low pressure depression. Yellow alert has been declared in 8 districts today. In the famous Sabrimala Lord Ayappa temple in Kerala, the 2-month-long pilgrimage season, the Mandala Kalam, begins today. More in this report.
Devotees started entering the Sabrimala temple since early morning today as the Mandala Magarivilaka pilgrimage started. As the Met Department forecasts heavy rains in Pathanamthitta district, the number of devotees will be restricted in coming days, including curbs on sport and virtual queue booking for darshan and the customary holy dip in the Pamba river as the water level is dangerously high. The holy Mandalam and Magarivilaka season started today, the first day of Malayalam month of Vrishchikam. The Mandala Puja festival at the shrine will be held from November 16th to December 26th. The Mandala Puja after the deity wearing the golden attire, Tanka Angi, will be held on December 26th. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
Today is National Press Day. The day is observed on the 16th of November every year to commemorate a free and responsible press. It was on this day the Press Council of India started functioning as a moral watchdog to ensure that the press maintains high standards and is not fettered by any influence or threats.
There are several press or media councils across the world, but the Press Council of India is a unique entity in its duty to safeguard the independence of the press, where the press is that of a free type which realizes its own responsibilities as the 4th pillar of the country. The Press Council keeps a check on the quality of reportage provided by the Indian press. It also ensures that journalistic objectivity is not compromised due to influence or threats of any extraneous factors. The Press Council of India was first constituted on 4th July 1966 as an autonomous, statutory, quasi-judicial body. In 1956, the first Press Commission had concluded that the best way to maintain professional ethics in journalism can be achieved by creating a statutory authority consisting of people mainly connected with the industry and can arbitrate the activities. This led to the birth of the Press Council of India in 1966.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur today called upon journalists to make all efforts to curb the menace of fake news and fake narratives. Wishing the media fraternity on National Press Day today, he said the Government of India on its part has taken measures like establishment of fact-check unit at PIB, which has gained in popularity.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
16th of November is the death anniversary of 7 freedom fighters who were hanged to death for their role in the 1915 Lahore conspiracy case. They were Kartar Singh Sarabha, Vishnu Ganesh Pingle, Bakshish Singh, Jagat Singh, Suren Singh, Ishar Singh and Harnam Singh. The revolutionary and patriot Kartar Singh Sarabha was merely 19 when he was executed by the British.
जब तक दुनिया उते तुपते छा रहू करतार सियां.
Kartar Singh was born on 24th May 1896 in Sarabha village near Ludhiana. He completed his basic education in Ludhiana.
In 1912, he was sent to America for higher studies. Upon reaching San Francisco, an incident at the immigration office changed his life forever. He noticed that Indians were subjected to humiliating questioning, while immigrants from other countries were allowed in after bare minimum formalities. This infuriated the young boy, and he started questioning the existence of British rule in India.
When the Ghadar movement was born in 1913, Kartar Singh became one of its key members. He was made in charge of the Punjabi edition of Ghadar, the party mouthpiece. The newspaper highlighted the atrocities of the British and fueled revolutionary ideas among overseas Indians.
Soon, World War I broke out, and members of the Ghadar party decided that it was time to shift base to the homeland and mobilize the countrymen. On September 15, 1915, Kartar Singh left for India. He met well-known revolutionary Rasbihari Bose in Benares and informed him of the arrival of 20,000 members and workers of the Ghadar party and plans of the revolution. Unfortunately, the British got wind of these plans and launched a massive operation to apprehend them. Several members were arrested, but this did not deter Kartar Singh from planning ahead. He went about preparing the base for the revolution in Punjab.
He focused on mobilizing Indian soldiers in the British Army to join the movement, especially cantonments of Meerut, Agra, Banaras, Allahabad, Ambala, Lahore and Rawalpindi, and simultaneously set up a small-scale arms manufacturing unit in Ludhiana. The date for revolt was set for February the 21st, 1915. A plan was made to attack cantonments of Miamir and Firozpur, whereas Ambala was prepared for a mutiny. Meanwhile, the British reacted swiftly and arrested a number of revolutionaries.
Kartar Singh, however, managed to evade arrest. The promised revolution did not come to fruition. Refusing to give up, Kartar Singh made a last-ditch desperate attempt on March 2, 1915 to rouse the Indian soldiers in Sargodha and incite the soldiers to mutiny. This time, a soldier got him arrested. He was sent to trial with the other members of the Ghadar party at Lahore in what came to be called the Lahore conspiracy case. Kartar Singh and many others were tried in the Lahore conspiracy trial in April 1915 for their roles in the February plot.
When questioned about his role, Sarabha was defiant, stating that it was his duty to get Indians to rebel against the British. Sarabha was executed at the Lahore Central Jail on 16th of November 1915. Bhagat Singh always used to keep Sarabha's photo in his pocket. India will always cherish the memory of its hero, Shaheed Kartar Singh Sarabha.
The freedom struggle hero Vishnu Ganesh Pingle, who was executed along with Kartar Singh Sarabha and 5 other revolutionaries, laid down his life for the motherland at the age of 26. He was born in Talegaon, Dhamdhere village of Pune district on January 2, 1889. After completing his schooling, Pingle went to Washington and got a degree in electronic engineering.
During his stay in the US, he came in contact with revolutionaries such as Lala Hardyal, Kartar Singh Sarabha and Pandit Kanshiram and became an active member of the Ghadar party. Pingle used his engineering skills in making bombs for the party. After coming to India, he started revolutionary activities in Punjab and maintained secret contacts with revolutionaries including Ras Bihari Bose and Sachindranath Sanyal.
During World War I, the Ghadar party planned an armed uprising against the British. They arrested Pingle from Meerut cantonment on March 24, 1917, with 18 live bombs and other explosive material. He was hanged to death in the Lahore Central Jail on November 16, 1915.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
भारत के स्वतंत्रता संग्राम में अनगिनत स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों ने अपने प्राणों की आहुति दी। कुछ इतिहास में अमर हो गए और कई गुमनाम। आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के अंतर्गत 75 कड़ियों की श्रृंखला में हम उन वीरांगनाओं की बात करेंगे जिनका योगदान कभी भुलाया नहीं जा सकता। प्रत्येक मंगलवार परिक्रमा में सुनिए अपराजिता, देश की वीरांगनाओं को आकाशवाणी का सादर नमन।
In today's episode of Aparajita, we bring you the saga and sacrifice of warrior Maharani Tarabai.
Chinese President Xi Jinping held a virtual meeting with US President Joe Biden. In the first face-to-face meeting virtually since Biden took office, President Xi said China and the United States should respect each other, coexist in peace and pursue win-win cooperation. Mr. Xi also stressed the need for a sound and steady China-US relationship for safeguarding a peaceful and stable international environment. In cricket, India will take on New Zealand in the first T20 encounter of the 3-match series tomorrow at the Savai Mansingh Stadium in Jaipur. The match will start at 7 p.m. Rohit Sharma will lead the Indian team while KL Rahul is the vice-captain. Virat Kohli, who relinquished his T20 captaincy, has been rested.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. National capital Delhi is expected to have mist. It recorded minimum temperature of 10 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 27 degrees. Mumbai has a forecast of rain or thunder showers towards evening or night. Chennai is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Government took brave decisions of monetizing unused and underused elements to revive economy, says Prime Minister at the first Audit Divas event in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Purvanchal Expressway at Karwalkiri in Sultanpur district of Uttar Pradesh. CBI conducts searches in 76 locations in 14 states and union territories. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 113 crore mark. President Ramnath Kovind to grace the centenary year celebrations of the Punjab Engineering College in Chandigarh this evening. Prime Minister to address the inaugural session of the 82nd All India Presiding Officers Conference tomorrow. In Kerala, heavy rain continues to lash across various districts. Yellow alert declared in 8 districts. Today is National Press Day. And in cricket, India will take on New Zealand in the first T20 international of the 3-match series in Jaipur tomorrow. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the midday news.